Good afternoon. My name is Richard Rennells, and the devotional for today is Frustration and Disappointment. One of the frustrating things about writing a devotional dealing with frustrations is the word is not common in the Bible. See Ezra 4:5 or Galatians 2:21 in King James. Frustration is a deep, chronic sense or state of insecurity and dissatisfaction arising from unresolved problems or unfulfilled needs. And to frustrate is simply to induce feelings of discouragement. How disappointing. To me, frustrations lead to many of our sins, both in thought and action. Frustration is simply our response when interpersonal or physical situations do not go as we prefer, or they should. When something should go one way, it goes the opposite, or not at all. Or when people do or say things that go against all logic, reason, and minimal decency. We cannot fix the situation. Frustration exists when Satan gets our attention and our emotions are manifested in a response not appropriate to the manner God expects. What's the solution? How does God want us to respond to the challenges or frustrations of daily life? With reservation, compassion, charity, empathy, understanding, forgiveness, and asking Him for guidance, for strength. Realize our test can be resolved by taking a step back and not simply reacting to the negative stimulus. By knowing that we should not see a negative situation as something we can or should control, even if the situation is due to our absent-mindedness or stupidity. We need to know that a discussion with God and asking for understanding, empathy, and the long list of positive attitudes will allow us to put a simple or complex situation in perspective. We then can respond not out of anger or fear or frustration, but as God expects. Easier said than done, particularly for those of us with a short temper who sort of skip past the God part. Well, what is the secret to getting past the initial response period? Practice. Continual communication with God. Exposure to His thoughts allows us to ask God to help us when presented this type of opportunity. Staying in communication with God improves our chances of getting past the immediate response to disappointment or the many types of frustration. This means He is not far away from our consciousness when we need His guidance. The pandemic is a good example of frustration for all or most of us. From the simple to the more complicated of situations, this experience may result in frustration and loss of hope, of accepting the natural herd immunity mantra of no masks or precautions. No problem until it is. Perhaps the solution is to recognize we generally do not have the capacity to permanently fix most interpersonal and many physical things. We may take a superficial action or inaction, but that attempt may be compromised. Yes, we can talk with people, discuss options with them, and have mutual assistance to create a solution. Each of us has free will. We need to respect the right of others to not do or think what we see as right. That is between them and God. Our job is to be a good witness in all things for, for God's expectations for all of us. A tough job, but we cannot be the absolute conscience for others. An impossible job for us, but not God. If we recognize our limitations, that the actions or inactions of others are not fully under our control, perhaps our frustration will be reduced. Perhaps if our focus is on God and not on the things we cannot change, we will have less disappointment, less frustration. God be with you.